What's up, everyone? It's Tom, and today we are going to some of the scariest places on the entire planet. I'm talking about hotels and castles so haunted, most people can't even last a single night. Forget your typical spooky stories, these are locations with centuries of dark history, violent deaths, terrifying paranormal activity documented again and again. Experts, ghost hunters, and even regular tourists have run out of these buildings screaming. So, we compiled a list of the top 10 most haunted stays in all of Europe, and we're going to see what makes them so terrifying. Each one of these places is more extreme than the last, with stories that will make your skin crawl. Castles built over gates to hell islands where thousands of plague victims were burned, and inns where ancient rituals were performed. People who have stayed in these places report being touched, seeing full-body apparitions, and hearing blood-curdling screams in the middle of the night. It's not just a creaky floorboard or a weird noise, it's an experience that changes people forever. So, I have a question for you, and I want you to be honest. If I offered you $10,000, $100,000, or even $1 million, would you have what it takes to spend an entire night alone in one of these places? First up, we're going to what might be the single most haunted house in all of Great Britain, the ancient Ram Inn. This place is insane. Before it was even an inn, this land was home to ancient pagan burial grounds dating back 5,000 years. Historians believe it was a site for dark rituals. Some even say there are ancient ley lines that cross directly under the building, creating a portal for paranormal energy. You can literally feel a heavy, oppressive energy the second you step inside. It's not just old, it feels fundamentally wrong, like the building itself is alive and watching you. The legends surrounding this place are the stuff of nightmares. We're talking about stories of a witch being burned at the stake right on the property in the 1500s. Her spirit is said to still haunt the room where she hid before being captured. There are also tales of a high priestess of a pagan cult being murdered here, and even the remains of children being discovered under the floorboards, with daggers still in their chests. These aren't just ghost stories. They are brutal, historical events that have soaked into the very walls of the inn, leaving a permanent stain of darkness and despair. People who have dared to stay here have reported some of the most intense paranormal activity ever recorded. Guests have been grabbed, guests have been pushed, and even thrown across rooms by unseen forces. Full-bodied apparitions are seen regularly, including the ghost of a sinister-looking monk in the most haunted room, the bishop's room. People hear demonic voices, witness objects levitating, and experience sudden, terrifying drops in temperature that leave them breathless. The current owner has been attacked countless times and has a collection of photos showing strange lights and figures. You've seen the evidence, you've heard the stories of demonic entities and violent spirits. This isn't just a haunted house, it's a place many paranormal investigators believe is a genuine gateway to something much, much darker. The question isn't just if it's haunted, but what kind of evil lurks within its walls. So I have to ask you, for any amount of money, would you spend the night alone in the ancient Ram Inn? Let me know in the comments. Next on our list is a place that looks beautiful on the outside but holds a tragic secret. This is Ballygally Castle in Northern Ireland, built in 1625 and standing nearly 400 years later. It has one very famous, very persistent resident ghost. Her name is Lady Isabel Shaw. Legend says Lord James Shaw locked her in a tower room at the top of the castle because she couldn't give him a male heir. Alone and starving, she had a choice: either waste away or try to escape. While trying to escape, or perhaps being pushed, she fell from the tower window to her death on the stones below. Ever since, her spirit has been trapped inside the castle walls, unable to move on. For centuries, guests have reported encounters with a friendly but mischievous spirit. They say she wanders the ancient corridors at night, looking for her child. The hotel has a dedicated ghost room in the original tower. Guests who have stayed at Ballygally have reported a whole range of strange occurrences. The most common, a gentle, rhythmic knocking on their hotel room door in the middle of the night only to find no one there when they open it. Others have felt a strange, cold presence in their rooms, or have heard the faint rustle of a silk dress passing by them in an empty hallway. Some have even reported seeing a faint, sad-looking apparition wandering the grounds near the tower where she fell. The hotel staff are completely open about the haunting and will even tell you the best spots to try and encounter her. Unlike some of our other locations, Lady Isabel is said to be a benevolent spirit. More sad than scary. But that doesn't make it any less terrifying to be woken up by a ghost knocking on your door. Ghost hunting teams who have investigated the castle have captured EVPs of a woman's voice and have recorded strange temperature fluctuations in the ghost room. So, here's the question. Even if the ghost is friendly, could you handle sharing your room with a spirit from the 17th century? Would you sleep in a room where you know a ghost is known to visit? Okay, this next one is for the ultimate thrill seekers. We're heading to a remote, isolated part of Sweden to visit the Borgvatnet Vicarage, also known as the Haunted Vicarage. This unassuming building is famous for one reason. It's considered one of the most haunted places in all of Scandinavia. Built in 1876, reports of paranormal activity started almost immediately with the very first priest who lived there. Since then, a long line of vicars and their families have reported terrifying experiences, seeing apparitions being physically thrown from their chairs. The activity here isn't subtle. It's in your face, physical, and relentless. Visitors who stay the night, yes, you can book this place like a B&B. Now we're going to a place straight out of a gothic fairy tale, Glamis Castle in Scotland. This place is huge and has an incredible history. It was the childhood home of the Queen Mother and the setting for Shakespeare's Macbeth, but behind its royal connections and stunning architecture lies a dark web of secrets, curses, and terrifying legends. The castle has been the seat of the Earls of Strathmore for over 600 years, and it seems like every generation has added another ghost story to its collection. The sheer number of hauntings here is staggering. The most famous legend is that of the monster of Glamis. The story goes that in the 19th century, the heir to the estate was born horribly deformed. To avoid shame, the family faked the child's death and locked him away in a secret chamber deep within the castle walls for his entire life. For decades, castle staff would hear strange noises, cries, and banging coming from a hidden part of the castle. The secret was so closely guarded that only the Earl and his heir were ever told the location of the chamber. Even today, people claim to see a shadowy figure at a barred window in a part of the castle, with no known rooms. But the monster is just the beginning. The castle is also home to the Grey Lady, believed to be the spirit of Lady Janet Douglas, who was brutally burned at the stake for witchcraft in 1537. Her ghost is seen so often, she has her own designated seat in the castle's chapel, which is always left empty for her. Visitors and staff have seen her misty gray form kneeling in prayer before she vanishes into thin air. Another famous ghost is Earl Beardy, a gambling nobleman who is said to have sold his soul to the devil. He's now trapped for eternity in a secret room, forced to play cards and curse at his demonic opponent. People report hearing shouting, swearing, and dice being thrown from behind a solid stone wall. Glamis Castle is not just a tourist attraction, it's a living, breathing paranormal hotspot. You can take guided tours that specifically focus on these ghost stories, and investigators have been granted access to conduct paranormal research. They've captured EVPs, photographed strange mists, and documented extreme cold spots in the secret chamber's vicinity. With so many powerful spirits, from a tormented monster to a cursed earl, this castle is a paranormal powder keg. Would you be brave enough to join an investigation team and search for the secret room of the monster of Glamis? Alright, if you thought the other places were intense, we are now going to what many paranormal experts call the most terrifying and evil place in the world. This is Leap Castle in Ireland, and it is not for the faint of heart. This castle has a history so violent and bloody, it's almost unbelievable. It was the site of countless battles, murders, and massacres. The most infamous spot is a room now known as the Bloody Chapel. Here, one brother, a priest, was brutally murdered by his own sibling in front of his family while holding mass. The energy in that room is suffocatingly dark. During renovations in the 20th century, workers made a horrifying discovery. Behind a wall in the Bloody Chapel, they found a secret dungeon. Inside were hundreds of human skeletons, piled on top of each other. The dungeon was designed so that prisoners would be dropped through a trapdoor onto spikes below, left to die in agony. It took 3 full cartloads to remove all the human remains. The sheer amount of pain and suffering that occurred within these walls has created a malevolent energy that is palpable. People who enter the chapel report being overcome with nausea, dread, and a sense of pure evil. But the most terrifying thing about Leap Castle isn't a human ghost. It's something else. The castle is said to be haunted by a non-human entity known as an elemental. This creature is described as a hunched, gray creature, about the size of a sheep, with a decaying face and a horrifying smell of sulfur and death. It's believed to be an ancient, primordial spirit that was summoned by dark occult rituals performed in the castle centuries ago. Paranormal investigators like Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures have called their experience at Leap Castle the most terrifying investigation of their lives. They claim to have been physically scratched and have seen the creature's shadow move. This is the major leagues of ghost hunting. The current owner who lives in the castle has had numerous encounters and warns visitors that provoking the spirits here is incredibly dangerous. This isn't a game. The entities in this castle are not friendly. They are powerful and malevolent. From pure evil, let's travel to something a bit more romantic. This is the Château de Brissac in the Loire Valley, France. It's the tallest castle in the country, a beautiful 7-story masterpiece that looks like it's straight out of a Disney movie. But don't let its beauty fool you. This magnificent chateau is home to one of France's most famous ghosts, La Dame Verte, the Green Lady. Where her eyes and nose should be, there are just black, gaping holes, like a skull. They often host special events and overnight stays, particularly the chapel tower and the grand staircase. Bran Castle, Dracula's lair. You can't have a list of haunted European castles without talking about this one. Welcome to Bran Castle, in Transylvania, Romania, better known to the world as Dracula's Castle. Staff and visitors have reported seeing her ghostly figure, clad in white, wandering the halls and gardens at night. You can join guided ghost hunts that take you through the castle's secret passages and darkest corners after all the tourists have gone home. Poveglia Island, the island of the damned. Over 160,000 people died on this tiny island. The soil of Poveglia is said to be 50% human ash. Mary King's Close, the buried city. This is Mary King's Close, a real 17th century street that was literally buried and built over. The most famous ghost is a little girl named Annie. People who enter the room report their cameras and phones malfunctioning, feeling a small cold hand grab theirs, and even hearing a little girl's voice whispering, "So, would you do it?" And that's it. 10 of the most haunted, most terrifying places in all of Europe. Cursed castles, plague islands, a literal gateway to hell. Each location has a history so dark, have walked into these places and run out screaming. You have to subscribe to the channel right now, and turn on notifications.